Bro, this shit, yo. My shit on? Yo, this shit. This card. Banger card. But up until this fucking last round, where Carlos Prates just fucking sold his own win, bro. No intro, nothing, bro. This just pissed me off so much. Garry won. I don't know how it was. What do you call it? 48-47. I thought that was a pretty weird card. I don't think Carlos Prates won 2 rounds. I only thought he won, maybe the 4th. But I thought he won the 5th round. That's it. That's the only round I'd give him. But bro, oh my god. So for one, I didn't think he was gonna get beaten this badly. I thought it would have been closer to the 48-47 than it was this 50-45-ish, 49-46 decision that it was. But first 3 rounds, he was getting Prates was just getting dominated. There was no helping him. He was getting outstruck. He landed a total of 17 shots in 3 rounds. Or 17, at least, I think, significant strikes in 3 rounds. Garry was fucking him up for all 3, for the first 3 rounds. And then the 4th, Prates started to kick up only at the end. So, this is still, that's still 3.5 rounds. Right? 3.5 rounds of Prates getting fucked on. And in the 4th, Prates started putting on the pressure. He started hurting Garry. He started getting his moments. It seemed like he started getting some momentum. And one of the more surprising things for me in this fight was seeing how good Prates' takedown defense was. I know in my prediction, I said it was gonna be fucking sus. Sorry, I don't know why I'm cursing so much. I said it was gonna be sus. Or that's I was sus about it because we didn't know how good it was. His takedown defense is definitely elite. Excuse me. His takedown defense is definitely elite. But what I don't understand is in the 5th round, when he practically had Garry tied up with a gag in his mouth, saying, "Finish me." Pause, bro. But he stops grounding, pounding Garry, which is what hurt him. I don't know if y'all heard that. I'm gonna leave that in anyway, man. Take one take only. But he lets Garry get up from the ground and pound and doesn't land and doesn't throw a single shot afterwards. Did you want to win, or was it just ego? I think it was just his ego, because he, I think with how Prates was talking leading up to the fight, this was a maybe needed humbling. I think Prates could have did really well against maybe other contenders that if had they taken it on short notice, like Garry. And I think Garry really, this was a really good win and performance from Garry. I think we just see how good his striking really is. We see how good his grappling really is. His post-fight interview was a little bit cringe when he just started speaking Portuguese out of nowhere. I know he lives in Brazil and shit now, but I don't know. Something about it was kind of cringe. bro, I don't want to be. I don't want to have to root for Ian Garry, but I think he definitely deserves a title shot over other people in the division. Um, that's just how I feel. The only thing, like, the only takeaway, there is no real takeaway from this fight that can be negatively said about Ian Garry, other than the fact that we already knew, like, he could be chinny at times. Like, he doesn't have an iron chin. He has a decent chin, but obviously with that still potential of being chinny, whatever. But man, like, as a fan, I would have wanted Protest to win, right? But knowingly, using my brain, I knew Ian Garry was going to, and these odds didn't show how, like these were not accurate at all. Like, looking at it after the fight, this should have been like a negative 300 to plus 250 or some shit like that. But Ian Garry showed some really, really, really good kickboxing, using the high kicks to block the striking of Carlos Prates. He was putting in real damage. His boxing was really good. So he used a lot of really good longer combos. He did a lot of he honestly most of his damage that he did and most of his strikes were coming from the boxing, and he was just finding openings, shutting down Carlos Prates' offense. Man, like, I don't want to have to glaze Ian Garry, but he did really good. And honestly, I knew he was going to win, but regardless, it was still impressive to me. And because I already started making the video, I'm going to just fucking do the rest of the card. So, Anthony Smith versus Zhang Mingyang. This was sad to see, to be honest. Shout out Anthony Smith. 60 professional fights. I wish I could have made my channel at a time where I could have talked about Anthony Smith more, but it is what it is. I hope he stays retired. It was really sad to see him go out this way. He seemed to be doing well in the first 2 minutes, and then he got hit with something nice, something strong, but from Zhang. I think it was an elbow, and then he just started getting spammed with the elbows, and like, who was the ref? Herzog? I think it was Herzog. Yeah, Herzog didn't stop the fight. I guess, like, he did that a couple of times. And I would say this Anthony Smith one is the only reasonable one, because, it's a guy's retirement fight. We would want to give the benefit of the doubt and let him just fight it out. But at the same time, man, he's old, man. He's already taken so many hits. He's like, it's 60 fucking fights, bro. 60 professional fights. That's a lot. And then some random moment where the instant CTE kicks in and he just starts arguing with some random person, I think in the crowd. I'm not too sure. But I don't want to troll him. I don't want to talk about I don't really want to talk too negatively about Anthony Smith. Shout out to him, man. He gave the MMA community memes and highlights for us to use for years. Yeah, shout out Anthony Smith. Zhang is kind of funny, bro. Showed a little personality on the mic. If you don't know, now you know. That shit was kind of funny, bro. That shit made me chuckle IRL, bro. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. And then Giga versus David Onama. Man, I'm a hater. Just call me a hater, bro. I don't fuck with David Onama, man. I don't know. It's like, I don't know how to describe it. And it's like, I don't want to have to explain it. Because it's like, yes, I think Onama deservingly beat Giga Chikadze. But I just like he has solid striking, and he's able to mix in his takedowns. But it's something about how he fights. Hold on, sorry, I got to burp. Sorry. It's just something about how he fights that really throws me off, because I can't tell if he's actually good or if he's trash. And I can't hold it against him, but his striking is, it's like, it's weird. I can't explain it. It's weird. Like, it's good, but it's mid. Like, when he hits, you know, he has a lot of power. I don't like, I'm really trying my best to avoid using the word power merchant. But I just think that's, to some degree, what he kind of is. You know, I don't really see, I can't remember off the top of my head who else he could probably fight. He could probably fight Emmett in the top 10, but I don't know if I see him being anybody else. Off the top of my head, I'm not gonna look anything up right now. But yeah, I don't. Giga was doing well, but you know, he started getting hit, and I guess he started to get tired and slowing down. That's when Onama started to pick it up and mix in the wrestling and get the takedowns and stuff. And yeah, I mean, oh, there was one really nasty headbutt that they had when Onama was changing levels, and Giga, I don't even know what he was doing when he went that low, but that was pretty nasty, and I think both of them were kind of concussed from that. But Michel Pereira versus Abus Magomedov, pretty underwhelming, especially from Michel Pereira. I don't really know what he was trying to do at all. First round, he barely threw. The second, he also barely threw. And then in the third, where he finally started throwing, he somehow gassed out. I don't know. I'm pretty confused. I thought Abus won that fight pretty convincingly. While Michel Pereira wasn't throwing anything in the first, Abus was hitting him with some good kicks, using front kicks very well. He was getting takedowns throughout the fight. I was really thinking Pereira was like injured. I was trying to find some way of coping and thinking, you know, Pereira was injured. I thought this probably would have been a harder fought battle for Magomedov. This was a pretty easy path to victory for him. But hey, W prediction, man. Yeah, y'all gotta give me my extra points for that underdog pick, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know every fighter, but I'm not no casual for real. What was next? Oh, yo, this fight was crazy. Randy Brown versus Nicholas Dalby. That fight was crazy. I didn't think Randy Brown was gonna get a KO, to be honest. Brown started strong, using his 1-2s, using his range. In the first, damaging. He was doing Dalby pretty dirty. Broke his nose in the first round really badly. And then Dalby responds, dropping Brown. And then at the end of the first round, after Dalby knocks down Brown, he just kind of lays on him until the bell rings. And then second round was crazy. They started getting into it, and then, man, bro, it was like the craziest and fastest chain of events I had seen ever, bro. Maybe not ever, but it was crazy. Brown hurt Dalby really bad with the knee. And then Dalby came back with an overhand. And then Brown was trying to thug it out. And then they just started standing and trading, just going shot for shot, band for band. And then Brown just fucking sleeps Dalby. Oh my god. That one had me hyped. This is definitely fight of the night. Should be performance of the night as well. We gotta stop giving fight of the night and performance of the night to main events that are underwhelming. Not to say that this main event was underwhelming, but maybe a performance of the night for Ian Garry, and that's it. I don't think fight of the night. This should be fight of the night, if anything. I don't give a fuck if it was only 2 rounds. It's fight of the night. Ikram Malascara versus Andre Muniz. I predicted it correctly. I told y'all Ikram was going to go out there for a statement win. And that's exactly what he went out there and got. Last minute KO the first round. Left hook to I think his temple. To Muniz's temple. Lay reaction to the impact. And you know, he's hurt really bad, and then fight gets stopped. Just ends there. Like, they ain't really much else to say. You know, like only 6 seconds left on the clock. For that round. Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. I had Matt Schnell. I'm glad he got a win. I'm not too sure what happened after. I don't know if he retired. Did he retire, guys? Y'all gonna have to let me know, because I'm gonna be honest right now. I missed the Evan Elder Gage Young fight. I'm gonna have to watch that back another time. And I missed the first, and I did miss the first round of Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. I had Schnell winning the second round. He almost submitted Flick. Dan Miragliotta has to be drug tested after today. I don't know what was going on with the clocks. Even in the main event, one of the rounds ended 5 seconds earlier than it was supposed to. And Dan Miragliotta fucked up one of Schnell's submission attempts by touching him and making him think that it was the end of the round and letting go. When in reality, he probably could have submitted Jimmy Flick in those 10 seconds. Maybe, you know, I don't think Flick would have tapped, but I'm saying hypothetically he could have. But I thought Schnell won it 2-1. I thought he won the third round based off of getting the better in the grappling exchanges, especially in terms of just submission attempts, more solid submission attempts. I think some of the issues that Matt Schnell was having with Jimmy Flick was definitely maybe, I guess just like the frame difference and the strength that they carry. Like Schnell is very, very, very lean, and I don't want to say like, what's the word for it? Like, he just looks frail, I guess. Like, I guess that's the only way I think I can think of putting it. And Jimmy Flick looked much bigger, much more dense than Schnell did. And I think that was just that issue made it difficult for Schnell to deal with Jimmy Flick. But yeah, barely beating Jimmy Flick. Probably still warrants a retirement. You know what I'm saying? I guess the fall from grace of being top 10 ranked to barely beating Jimmy Flick, who I think was never in the top 15, is a very big tell. You know, I think Schnell, you know, you got your win. Go out on the win. Just go ahead, leave it on the win. Shout out Jimmy Flick, though. I didn't think he was gonna do as good as he did. Fought with heart, fought with grit. Shout out to Brick. And honestly, when I was making this prediction video, I completely forgot that his name was the Brick. I would have 100% chose Jimmy the Brick Flick, just for the meme of it, because of the matching names. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I'm gonna skip this fight. I didn't see anything about it on Twitter or anything either, so I'm gonna assume it really wasn't worth watching. Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. I also had Chris Gutierrez by split decision. I thought the first round was pretty close. I thought Gutierrez won that round. I thought Castaneda won the second one. I think because he threw better shots and threw them with more volume. And he was advancing as well, I believe, most of that round. But Chris Gutierrez, you know, he's known for his leg kicks, and like I said, they were going to play a big role into his win. They were very nasty throughout the whole fight. It was pretty obvious that Castaneda was slowing down and couldn't really get going with his offense because of the damage that he was taking to his legs. And, you know, Gutierrez came back and won the third round, at least in my eyes. You know, I don't know how y'all feel about that. I thought maybe, you know, Castaneda probably could have won, but I think Gutierrez was just more deserving, right? I feel like he did more. Maybe just like, it isn't much margin of error in terms of this fight, I guess. I feel like it could have either, like, literally gone to both. But, yeah, I mean, really wasn't much to talk about from that fight. That fight wasn't amazing. It was active. It wasn't really nothing special. But Damon Blackshear versus Alatung Haley, that one surprised me. And this one kind of pissed me off because as I bet on Blackshear to win by submission, he doesn't shoot a takedown at all. But instead, he surprised me with some really good striking. So, you know what? Shout out to Blackshear. Him and Alatung Haley had a very fun first round. Blackshear was doing very well using his kicks, keeping his distance. Good hands. Hands looked fast. A lot of that kind of went out the window as, like, you know, as they went into the third rounds. Later in the third round, especially. I think the second round was pretty close. Alatung Haley was landing some pretty good shots. He was keeping himself in the fight, advancing, putting pressure on Blackshear. But I think I edged it towards Blackshear just because he wobbled him at the end. And even though Alatung Haley was coming back, Blackshear was still in the fight. You know, he was still keeping it competitive. That second round was pretty 50-50 up until that wobble, and then they kind of gave it the 55-45 to Blackshear. And yeah, I had Blackshear winning that one either just 2-1, 3-0. I thought he clearly won the third round as well. So it really depends on whether you think Alatung Haley won the second or not. And I don't think he did. Malcolm Wellmaker versus Cameron Simon. Cameron Simon, I'm so sorry. I should have never cursed you, bro. Wellmaker started off very patient, very composed. That was really interesting to see in his debut. I think I mentioned that about somebody else in here. Yeah, I did. Not yet, though. Cameron was doing well. You know, wasn't much else he could do. You know, he got caught. You know. Um, I think he needs to move up. I think he's ruining his body by keeping it this small. He looks super frail in there. Like it, low key, like even though he's rehydrated, it doesn't look healthy, bruh. You know, like that shit. Like just for the sake of his chin, but the thing is, he's small for featherweight. If he goes up, he probably have to take like 2 years off. And I'm looking at Malcolm Wellmaker right now for his backstage interview, and he looks so much bigger than Cameron Simon. Like so much more dense, so much more muscle. I don't know, but really good win for Wellmaker. That KO was crazy. That came out of nowhere. I did not expect that. I didn't think that from him, but shouts out to him. I'm definitely a fan now. I'm definitely gonna be keeping up with his career. Um, but I'm already seeing him getting overhyped. Like as he won that fight, I logged into TikTok, immediately see an edit of him saying, "Give us Peyton Talbot. We need to stop. We need to slow down. This is his first fight in the UFC. And yes, he's good, but we're going to end up fucking up his career by giving him too big of a push that he's not ready for." Okay? All right. Let's protect our prospects. Amarim versus Pauliana Viana. Not much to talk about. Fight was kind of mid up until the submission. Fight started first round. Amarim immediately went for the takedown, dominated the ground. In the entire first. And then this is where Dan Miragliotta first. This is where it all started. Pauliana Viana was getting rear naked choke attempted on her, and in the last 10 seconds, Miragliotta thought the horn went off and put his hand like on the fighter to separate, and Viana's just looking at him like, "What are you doing?" Like if she's dropping her own defense to look at you like you're stupid, then you just did some stupid shit for real. But it doesn't matter because in the second round, Amarim gets a submission anyway. That's probably the end of Pauliana Viana's UFC career. She was pretty inactive. She has a good fan base behind her. In terms of just, wait, was my mic on? I really hope it was on. But yeah, she has a good fan base in terms of people knowing about her and stuff. But she's on a 35 loss streak. She was pretty inactive. I don't think she would be a big loss to the company. Just seeing in their perspective, you know what I'm saying. But you know what I'm saying. R.I.P. fine shit. It sucks, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm kind of fine shit too, though. I'm not gonna lie. Timmy Kwamba versus Roberto Romero. Kwamba also impressed me. He seemed very composed, very confident in his striking, and I think a lot of that played a part into the KO that he got, the flying knee KO, which was crazy, very cool. It was right in the center of Romero's forehead that it hit. Yeah, I mean, Kwamba was just piecing up Romero, leading up into that KO. He looked calm in there, looked really confident. You gotta have a certain level of confidence to throw like a flying knee. Sorry, I just blanked out. Like, I literally just lost my train of thought. But, yeah, there wasn't much for that one to talk about for me. Chelsea Chandler versus Jocelyn Edwards. I called it right. That's all I care about. I had Edwards. Edwards won. Best Edwards in the UFC. Got her knockout with spamming right hooks and then finally switching it up and hitting a left. Overall, though, this was a really good card. I think this is a 9 out of 10 fight night. This is one of the best fight nights we've gone in a long time. I know we had a couple of good ones recently too, but even as a whole, this is one of the best fight nights we've gone in a long time. I would have wished for a different main event outcome. I think Carlos Prates, if he used his brain a little bit more, would have realized, hey, you know, he's hurt. Let me use my death touch fist and pound away, or 12-6 elbows and pound away for 30 seconds until the horn rings, and hopefully it gets stopped beforehand. And I definitely would have, because Ian Garry was just running away, crawling. Right? Like, he was on the ground crawling away, like, woozy, helpless, but, you know, I guess in Prates' defense, you know, he was already beaten and bruised and tired, probably drained from the other 4 rounds of him just getting whooped on. But I'm gonna end the video there. That's my instant reaction to UFC Kansas City, Ian Garry versus Carlos Prates. I'm recording this. Well, I started April 26th, but even though this is my instant reaction, I still gotta edit a little bit of the video, and then I'll put it out. I'll put it out tomorrow morning. But like, comment, subscribe. Remember, guys, I'm trying to hit 50 subscribers so I can start going live. From what I recall, we're 21 out of 50 right now. Tell your friends. Shit, I don't even know what else to say. But fuck, I just fucked up my ending.